Good morning, Sava here, Football Heritage TV. I hope everybody is well. I hope everybody is really, really well. As always, smash the like on your way in, smash the like on your way out. Let's talk some football. Before we do, massive respect to Dele Alli. I'm sure everyone is talking about it today. I've watched the entire interview this morning with Gary Neville and just hats off. Not enough people do this. Not enough people realize the importance of mental health. Not enough people realize what it's like to struggle, to suffer. And, you know, for somebody of that fame to come out, for somebody of that, of that level to come out and talk about those struggles is good. It's positive for the world that somebody of that stature has done it. There'll be people that are rude about it. There'll be people that don't understand it. There'll be people that purely relate this to money. Here's the first one. Let's all feel for the stinking rich playboy. It's bad. Unfortunately, Steve, listen, there will be people like you in the world that say these things. Unfortunately, this isn't a money thing. This is a mental thing. This is a human being thing. No amount of money can make some people feel good within themselves. Unfortunately, that's what it is. But listen, I don't care about idiots like you. Dele Alli, thank you for somebody who has been through their own share of mental health problems in the past. For somebody that struggles to sometimes keep themselves in check. I'm sure many of you in the chat, whether you admit it or not, have dealt with something, have dealt with, heartache, loss, bereavement, childhood trauma, adult trauma, abuse, whatever it may be. And you're all still here. You're all still fighting. That's all that matters. That's what matters. You're here, you're fighting, you've got loved ones, everyone's here to talk. And most importantly is no one is alone, whether you think it or not. So, first and foremost, I would say the other day, someone came into the chat and said, look, apologies, I've missed a lot of shows lately. My wife passed away and I've not known what to do. And, you look at people like that and you think to yourself, it's okay. It's okay. And there's a lot of people here. A lot of people straight away reached out. Hey, we're here for each other. So listen, I'm going to do a video about Dele Alli later because it's a subject that's important to me. I know it's important to a lot of people. Unfortunately, we see the worst of human beings, don't we? We see the worst of human beings at times like this. This for me, this goes way beyond football. This goes way beyond football. This goes beyond what anyone thinks of him as a player, what anyone thinks of him as a human. This goes to what he's been through. And everyone can have their story, but sometimes you need famous people to come out because they get the attention. It shouldn't be that way in life, but it is. So big up to Dele Alli. I really hope he gets his career back on track. It was great to hear him say that he's in a good place. It was really great to hear him say, I'm in a good place now, and I've not been there for a while. So let's hope he can get his fitness back. Let's hope he can get through the injury he's got, and hopefully a club picks him up, gives him a chance, and hopefully we get to see the Dele Alli that we used to have. All I know is, listen, I'm not going to be one of these fans that says getting back to Spurs. Forget all that. Forget all the tribalism. Forget finding a club for him right now. Let's just hope for his career he sorts it out, and fair play to him. Whatever you think of him as a player, his personality, fair play to him. Hey, let's move on. But Dele Alli, maximum respect. I know you will never see this, my friend, but you know what I mean? Everyone needs somebody to talk to. Through doing my YouTube, I think there'll be people that obviously I wouldn't expect them to say anything in this chat that will attest to the fact that my phone is open for people. I do help people. It goes beyond talking about football. So everybody just take a second and think about that. Hey, it is what it is. There's 200 of you in here. Big up to absolutely every single one of you. As always, we try and keep this show about football. We try and keep this show on point. We try not to let in the children. And I promise moving forward, I will try not to get rattled, as the kids would say. But here we are. Smash the like. There's 220 of you now. It's going up quickly. Smash that like button. Let's not mess about, people. Let's smash the like. Thank you to everyone who subscribed yesterday. We are 23 away from 2,200, 7,200. We're going to get to the 10,000 as quickly as possible. Right. Anyway, where are we? So, Sava, me. I don't know why I started by talking about myself in the third person. I started this channel. I started the name of this show by calling it a Thursday Morning Chat with Sava, VDV Medical to Happen. Now, all I've got overnight from people now is, are you an ITK? Who do you know? It's like, whoa. Listen, one thing I've never claimed to be, never ever claimed to be. It's not chocolate milkshake, by the way. Anyway. One thing I've never ever claimed to be is an ITK. I get people offering me information. I relay it. I don't ever say their names. But look, lots of the ITKs yesterday, lots of the people within the game were saying that the deal is essentially wrapped up. An agreement is wrapped up between Van der Ven and Tottenham. And that the only thing that needs to happen now is for the formal bid. Apparently, they verbally agreed, but now it just needs the formal bid, and then a medical date will be set. Now, I've been a Spurs fan for so long to know that, do I believe it? I really hope so. I'm like that. As a Spurs fan, you're like, come on, please. Also, as a Spurs fan, I'm like, nope, never going to happen. This is not happening. I know Spurs, blah, 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 blah. But let's all hope that it does. I think it's a roller coaster being a Tottenham fan, isn't it? It truly, truly is a roller coaster. There are emotions where at the beginning of the week, I feel down about Spurs. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh my God, we're not going to sign anyone. Spurs are terrible. As we get to the end of the week, I'm like, hang on. Could we sign Van der Ven and Tapsoba? And the noises have started to move towards that Van der Ven will be wrapped up and that talks will still continue with Tapsoba. On top of that, what I'm hearing from people is that we will still definitely go for a central midfielder. And then anybody after that will probably be more of an opportunistic purchase. Yeah. And I think that's the important thing. And I think from speaking to people, and from common sense, I think we can all see that the squad is overinflated. I think we went through the number of defenders the other day. Let's do it again, right? If you look at it, by the way, just really, really quickly, big up Strasbourg Steve. Thank you very much. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'll tell you what I will do. All the super chat money I get today, I will give to mental health charities. I can't say fairer than that. All the super chat money I get today will go to mental health charities. Everyone who knows me knows that I'm a huge supporter of charity. I like to try and do my bit once a year, twice a year, 3 times a year. I think it's really, really important that the charities, that these people that work for nothing or very little money, they need support. They need people fundraising. So there you go. Today, I will, Ben, if you could put my link in the chat, all super chats today will go to mental health charities. I can't say fairer than that. But big up Strasbourg Steve, always a big supporter of the channel. I'll get you on again soon. Love talking football with you. Who are you watching today, mate? Let us know. If we look at this, just quickly, I love it. This guy always comes in my chat, always says something really random. Matthew Hayden said, it's funny how random football fans like me. Random football fans like me. What does a random football fan look like? Aren't we all random football fans? Can anyone in the chat let me know? What's a random football fan? Fans like you say Rodri is the best DM, while professional footballers like Antonio and Trippier said Declan Rice is better than Rodri and Casemiro. Okay, what? I don't know what you're trying to do there, Matthew. I don't think anyone in this chat looks at Rodri and doesn't think he's absolutely world class. Quick show of hands, just because Matthew loves to come in with nonsense. A quick show of hands. Is there anyone out there that doesn't think Rodri is world class? I'm taking Rodri over Declan Rice right now, maybe not later in their careers. I'm taking Rodri over Declan Rice all day, every single day. I think, listen, I like Declan Rice. I think he's a top footballer, but Rodri is way past Declan Rice. He is absolutely both. And Dre has hit the nail on the head. Antonio and Trippier are both English, and of course they're going to be biased towards their teammate. Look, I think if we get to that game, and thank you, 2 people just unsubscribed to me while watching this, talking about mental health and charity and giving money to charity, and people unsubscribe. Hey, it is what it is. Philly 2109 has said opinions are like a-holes. Everyone has one. Rodri is better than Rice at the moment. Yeah, I think Rodri, Dele is a legend. Absolutely. Listen, we don't know what people are going through until they tell us. The moment they tell us, that's where you stop. You think, you listen, you help, you support, and I'm glad he's got people around him now helping him. Yeah, Rodri is definitely next level all day. I don't even think it's for me, I didn't think this was a debate that needed to happen. He's much better than Rice. It's not even, I agree. But do you know what I mean? I like Rice. Rice is a very good midfielder. But unfortunately, what that stinks of, and it's what I said the other day, some of these Arsenal fans can't have a sensible conversation. Do you know what I mean? Like, they can't have a sensible conversation. Every one of their players or who they're signing is better than anyone else. Okay, let's see Arsenal win the treble this year. When Arsenal win the treble, I sit here as a Spurs fan and go, their players are the best. Their players are the best. They're the best team in Europe. We couldn't not. Scott Colliver, thank you very much, has just donated without saying anything, and sometimes that's all it needs. Thank you very much, Scott. That is much appreciated. I hope you're well, my man. And then Paul Connor, who is a massive, massive supporter of the channel. Thank you so much. I said, my donation towards the charity, Sava. The world needs more people like you. Keep up the great work. Listen, I think the world needs more people like you. Mate, listen, I'm just sitting here talking about football and just putting out my 2 pence worth, but thank you so much. I think that's really, really important. And look, on the back of this, Perchy is doing a 24-hour a 24-hour stream tomorrow for charity. And trust me, as a person who's done 3 of them, I've done 3 24-hour streams. It is tough. It is tough going. And people come on and they help you out and they talk. And sometimes people go, "Oh, you look." I had someone in the last one say, "You look disinterested." It was like 18 hours in. I'm like that. I'm like trying to, yeah. So get over to that as well. Sponsor YouTubers. But if we can use our platform for good, why can't everyone? Right? So Lee Burgess, I'd take prime Kante over Rodri. Do you know what? I was having this conversation a few months back. And again, this is one where I think it all depends on what player you want. If I want a midfielder to be everywhere, all over the pitch, running, tackling, I want Kante. If I want a player in a Pep Guardiola system to run the game from start to finish, I'm taking Rodri. And this is where this is why football's brilliant. Context is brilliant. I.e., the way I look at it, in a prime Jose Mourinho team, I want Kante. In a prime Pep Guardiola team, I want a Rodri. And that's where I think it's very different. Absolutely. Rodri every day of the week. By the way, sorry, more love for this. Sorry if I felt like I breezed past that. Brilliant. Thank you so much. Rodri is 100% better. Paul coming in with a controversial. Even Basuma was better than Rice when he left Brighton. Hey. Wow. Even Basuma's better. What do we think, people? Sean has said, yeah, Rodri on the ball is levels above Rice. Yeah, listen. You know what? And by the way, Jack, I wouldn't go by this. Look, I don't care about Rice's ability to score goals. I just think sometimes we get so caught up. We get so caught up in comparing players that don't do the same thing. They may play the same position, but they don't actually do the same thing. But I just find it funny, like that Matt, he comes in a lot. He's a nice guy. He comes in a lot and says things like, Sava, you still haven't explained why why Arsenal won't win the league next year. And I'm like, well, I've explained it a million times why I think they won't win the league next year. But Arsenal fans then go, oh, I hate you, Sava. You're so horrible to Arsenal. Why? I think you're a really good team. I just think Man City are miles better. Sacanelli has said, might be English bias. I would rather have Declan Rice at Arsenal than Rodri. Yeah, because you're an Arsenal fan. That's absolutely why, because you're an Arsenal fan. I fail to believe that there's any sane Arsenal fan that would have Rice over Rodri if it was an option. Absolutely. East London Laguna, an Arsenal fan, saying it's only delusional Arsenal fans that think Declan Rice is better. Watch Rodri play. I mean, this guy is a genius. This guy is everything a midfielder wants. And when they asked Busquets, did you see that they said you're leaving Barcelona? Is it going to leave a hole? What do they do? And his answer was, Rodri would be my successor. And Busquets was one of the greatest players of his generation. So, look, I think it speaks volumes. Scott, 24-hour streams are tough, my friend. They are really, really tough. The first 5, 6, 7, 8 hours flies. Then the next hours, you kind of get your second wind. And then the last 8 hours is the shift, because normally you start it in the middle of the night and then you go through to the morning and it gets really, really tough. But we raised thousands of pounds. That's all we can ask. Jay Jr. says, Sav, has there been news about VDV? As I said, a lot of the ITKs, a lot of the in-the-know people that seem to be getting a lot right this summer have said that it's wrapped up and it's going to be announced today. A medical is going to be announced today. We'll see. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We hear these things all the time, but fingers crossed. Fingers crossed it makes sense for it to be announced today. Because of the tour tomorrow, but we'll see. People in the chat, keep smashing the likes, people. We're at 108 likes, 108 likes. Unfortunately, we've lost a couple of subscribers. If we can get 25, we can get to 7,200. So if you haven't subscribed, please do, and welcome to absolutely everyone. Sean want to say, yes, Kante is better than both of them, but they are very different. I watch Kante for us dominate Kroos, Modric, Casemiro over 2 legs easy. Yeah, you could say that. I mean, I literally just watched Rodri dominate Real Madrid for fun. But hey, it is what it is. DMB has said Rodri is technically better. MJR Assassin 123 has said, may I say, if Van der Ven signs for Spurs, it will be a 7 out of 10 now and a 9 out of 10 in 2 years. Listen, I think a lot of people are talking about that they've watched him week in, week out. Listen, this is a guy that Postecoglou wanted a couple of years back for Celtic. So he clearly knows the player. He clearly knows what he's looking for. Philia said, Pep scouted well when City bought Rodri. Perfect player for the right manager. And that's it, right? That's it. By the way, I think Declan Rice is a top midfielder. I'm not saying he's not. Nick Brown has said, Rodri is better and I'd have him all day long over Rice. Yeah, I don't think there's a... Bill has said Rice is brilliant, though. Let's not kid ourselves. Absolutely. I don't think anyone is. I think sometimes when we talk about player versus player, it's almost as if, it's like in the Messi Ronaldo debate. Like people for years, if people said, oh, I prefer Ronaldo, Messi's, he's done this, does that. Why does talking up one player mean you have to belittle the other? Why aren't people capable of saying, you know what, I prefer Messi, but God, how good is Ronaldo? Those groups of fans couldn't separate. For me, I've always said, look, you would have both of them in your team. I prefer Messi's style, but Ronaldo is a joke. Ronaldo is ridiculously good, isn't he? Like, unfortunately, that's the world we live in. We can't say something nice about someone without saying something bad about something else. Such a shame. Paul said, I wasn't joking. Bassoon was the best 6 in the country at the time. Then he went a bit Spursy. Well, we'll see this year. Big year for him. Ryan Bush has said Rice better than Basuma. Maurizio Pochettino, who has said Rodri is God's gift to football. Absolute perfection of a footballer, in my humble opinion. No, not your humble opinion. Our humble opinion. I agree. I think Rodri is the perfect midfielder. I could watch that man dictate a game of football all day long. Effortless. He is what a lot of our fans think Bentancur is. Just saying. Ryan Bush has he said it again. Yeah, I get it. Single parent theory has said, in my opinion, Basuma could be league top 5 if supported and given the right direction and freedom. For sure. What we do need to see this year, we've got to see the Basuma of Brighton, and hopefully Postecoglou's going to unleash that. He didn't really get going last year. Never really got a massive run of games. Lots of injuries. Formation, it is what it is. Mickey Moynihan, big up, Mickey. Thank you very much. Lovely picture, by the way. Thank you again. Not really said anything, but hey, it is what it is. Thank you so much. Well, shouldn't we wait to see? Again, the Arsenal fans can't accept it. Honestly, the Arsenal fans are the worst fan base in the world. Listen, I've already said, I think Rice is a really good footballer. But when we say with better players around him, that doesn't mean that he's suddenly been hiding skills at West Ham that he's got. We've seen him play. We know what he can do. He's just not as good a footballer as Rodri. Bentancur or Rice all day long. Rice, sorry. I like Bentancur. I think Rice is a different level to Bentancur, if I'm being brutally honest. Martin has said Rice was a big fish in a small pond. This is the season to judge Rice properly. But when people keep saying this, listen, we've seen him play how many games for England in a midfield, in World Cups and Euros and stuff. We've seen how good Rice is. I just don't think he's as good as Rodri. We have to get a here we go today for Van de Ven, as there is still time to get him on the plane. He won't get on the plane. He definitely won't get on the plane. By the time, even if you get the here we go, Jay Jr., they have to agree that they have to sign the contract. They have to get him in for the medical. You have to wait 24 hours for the visa to come through. He won't be on that plane. He might go and join them afterwards. And I'm just checking for Fabrizio Romano's page and David Ornstein's page to see if anything has happened. Obviously, the news this morning that Jordan Henderson could be going back. Could be going to join Steven Gerrard in Saudi Arabia. Fabrizio Romano has just announced that talks to bring Matt Doherty back to Wolves are now advancing to final stages. The agreement is now close. Matt Doherty going back to Wolves on a free transfer. Mauro Icardi is about to be unveiled soon as a new Galatasaray player. Lampard has come out and said, I wanted Declan Rice to Chelsea when I was there as a coach. He was my top target. I told him that this kid is going to be the captain of Chelsea for the next 10 years. Savinho has joined Girona from Man City on loan. Where are we? Brighton have signed another unknown who I'm sure they've done their homework on. Romanian talent Adrian Mazilu has signed with Brighton. 3 million euros agreed. He will join in January 2024. So lots of stuff going on today in the world of transfers. Hopefully we can get some good news for Spurs later on today. Arsenal for Life has said, do you think we can at least win a cup, if not the league? Listen, I think the cup is all about who takes it seriously, right? Of course, anyone can win the cup. You put out your best teams if that's what you concentrate on. My worry for teams now is that Man City are so strong that we saw that last year they just went and won the FA Cup with ease. Yeah. But we also saw they could be beaten, like Southampton beat them in the League Cup. But listen, I think the FA Cup and League Cup will be won by one of the big clubs again. I think it will be won by Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United, Man City. It will be one of those 5 big clubs. I'm saying it now. I think those 5 big clubs will win both the cups and the league between them. I don't think there's any breaking news in what I just said, but I just don't think Arsenal. I don't know if you've got the experience. That's I'd say my worry. Of course, it's not my worry. You're Arsenal, but my concern, if I was an Arsenal fan, would be I don't think you've got the experience. You haven't got the experience in the manager. I don't think you've got enough experience for the squad. And when I look at this, is why none of you lot listen. When I look at Man City have the know-how. Man City have the experience in their backroom staff, manager, owners, players, the captain. They've got the experience everywhere. And this is why I remember going on to the football terrace last year when Arsenal were about 11 points clear. And everyone laughed at me because I said Man City will win this league. Man City will win this league because they've got more know-how, more experience to get over the line. And all the Arsenal fans were like, oh, salty Spurs fan. No, common sense. So, it's one day football fans, I think, will be able to take their hat off and have a sensible conversation. Not all football fans, but so many can't. So many, if you try and have a reasoned conversation, they just go, oh, but you're Spurs, right? It's weird. Barry Ambrose, big up, Barry. Thank you very much for the super chat. I will get all this money and put it to charity. I can prove it later down the line, but I will. Anyone who knows me knows that I will. So thank you very much for that. So far we've got Strasbourg Steve has donated. Thank you, Strasbourg Steve. Scott Colliver has donated. Paul's come with a huge donation. Thank you very much. Mickey Moynihan, thank you so much. It's much appreciated. Barry Ambrose, thank you. Strasbourg Steve has said, one of my Arsenal buddies think they are getting a far better player in Rice compared to Tonali because of Premier League experience. Who do you prefer? Look, I'd be lying if I said I'd seen Tonali week in, week out. What I've seen of him, I really like. Really, really like. There's nothing to say that both can't be equally as good and both do as equally are good for each other. Yeah, that's the thing. Sorry, that was just speaking to Sean and Henry. So for me, I just think sometimes we're so desperate for my player's better than your player. Not saying you're doing that, but look, I don't think he's a far better player. I think Tonali will need some time to settle. But listen, he's a very good player, as is Bruno Guimaraes, and looks like Newcastle have a nice little midfield there. And then another super chat from the Single Parent Theory, SPT. Thank you so much. I said big up to that, Sava. As a sufferer of post-traumatic stress syndrome and depression, I appreciate your charitable offer. Hope Dele gets all the help and support he needs. Do you know what, Single Parent Theory? All we can do as human beings is be there for each other. It doesn't matter if you've been a nasty person, not you. It doesn't matter if we've done bad things in the past, we've been nasty in the past. All you can do is realize who you are, look for others that need help and help them. What more can we do as human beings for each other? Thank you so much for the super chat. And then Leo and Lego. I love that. Sorry, Leo Land Lego. Thank you so much. So keep up the good work. Top man is Sava. Listen, I'm not doing anything special. I'm just here using a platform. But please keep smashing the subscribe button if you haven't already. We are now 22 away from the 7,200. As always, keep smashing the like button. We've got 136 likes from 365 people. It's easy. It's free. Smash that button. Where are we? Alan Adams said, Sava, if you want a prize for one of your charity drives, I might be able to help you. I'm a military artist and also a suffering Spurs fan. I have an original oil canvas of the lane at night. That is a very nice gesture. Alan, could I ask nicely, are you on Instagram? If you are, would you be or would you be able to email me? My YouTube email address is in my bio. If not, if you want to Instagram me so we can have this chat away from YouTube, would be brilliant. But that's a very kind offer. Thank you. That is a very kind offer. Thank you so much. I really, really do appreciate that. Ariel has said, Sava, how funny is it that Al Hilal have a better midfield than us with Neves and Milinkovic Savic? Do you know the funny thing about this, Ariel, is I've wanted both of these two for years. And then they just go in one window. Look, the money being spent in, I mean, it was like the people the other day saying, oh, see, money does talk. If the Saudi clubs can get these players, why can't Spurs? I think people have got to realise the volume of money being thrown at it by the Saudi clubs. There's talks that Jordan Henderson's going to quadruple his salary, and I can only imagine he was on 150 odd at Liverpool. Let that sink in. Big up, absolutely. Hope he's on the mend. Forget him being a footballer as a man. I hope he's on the mend as a man. Oh, another one. Messi never proved it in many leagues. It's embarrassing. If you watch Lionel Messi and that is your one sentence about him, it's embarrassing. This is what I mean. It's. Remember when I said about the Spurs, the Ronaldo Messi thing? This is what I mean. Like, how can the best player that's ever lived, or one of the best 2 or 3 players that's ever played football, get belittled so much? It is frightening. It is frightening. Yeah, absolutely, Ben. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. Yeah, contacting me via Insta. Um, absolutely, this is fine. You absolutely, Robert. You can love both and have a favourite, and that's it. That's all that needs to be said, isn't it? Uh, absolutely, he is. Pranay, big up, has said. Not a lot of people realise, but Rodri is the orchestrator for City. Rodri conducts the game. Rodri conducts the orchestra. You are correct. Absolutely. When it comes to Ndombele, it is not his training session. Oh, I'm not sure. I wasn't aware we were talking about Ndombele, but here we are. I need to hear it's about what he chooses to do on the match day field, and he is willing to put in the hard graft. I completely agree with you. I think this is a bit harsh. I think Declan Rice is a very good player. Rodri is better than Rice, and I like Arsenal. Partey is miles better on the ball than Rodri. Partey is not miles better on the ball than Rodri. What are you talking about? Partey better on the ball than Rodri. Garage Classics, I will ban you if you start talking like this. I'm sorry. Why am I shitting on Bentancur? Because I think Rice is a much better player. I've seen Rice do way much more than I have with Bentancur. That's all it is. Bentancur for me is he's a very good player. But for me, I need to see consistency. And obviously the injury hasn't helped. We don't know what he's coming back to. Again, this is what I mean. You get kids like this. You get kids like this guy that you can't have a football opinion without them having to. They see it as a personal attack. I don't understand. Here he goes again. Rice a different level to 3-time Serie A champion and Uruguayan international. Are you being serious? I don't think the honours are what makes me say that. I know the honours are what makes me say that. Garage Classics, unfortunately, you go through these spells where you are a nice person, then you go through these spells where you just turn childish. Mr. Post Office said, no, Sava, I agree. He hasn't been hiding his skills at West Ham, but I've watched him on Y Scout and he is trying to do things where his teammates are not in his wavelength. Okay, you can watch him on Y Scout. I mean, we watch him with his eyes. He's a very good player. I can't keep saying that. Rodri, for me, is just the best player in the league. Is Rice much better than Partey? Not for me. I mean, that was the conversation. I saw like Lee Gunner was talking about this and lots of Arsenal fans have been talking about this. Has Rice ever even played at the highest level? I mean, he's played in the Euro Championship final. He's played in the World Cup quarterfinal. I'm pretty sure that he's about to be playing in the Champions League in about a month's time. What a silly man you are. That's typical Premier League bias. Bentancur was brilliant for Juve whilst Rice was in a relegation fight. But Garage Classics, you can't separate now the player from the team, can you? This is what I mean. People can't separate the player from the team. Because West Ham were in a relegation battle once, since, let's be fair, Declan Rice was in their team last year when they finished 6th. So they're not always in a relegation battle. So use your noggin. Rice has literally just driven as captain his team to a semi-final of the Conference League, the final and won, the semi-final of the Europa League, the final and won the Conference League, the final of the Euros for England, and the quarterfinals of the World Cup for England. Please have a day off. Stop saying such silly things. You're looking silly in front of nearly 400 people. Stop it. Martin said, Rice picks up the ball and runs down blind alleys with no plan or execution or find a ball for assists. Now he's in a team with a plan and runner, so let's see how he gets on. Listen, I think he's going to be brilliant for them. I've already said it. I'm saying nice things about Rice whilst hyping up Rodri, but people just can't. It just baffles me. It just baffles me. It really, really baffles me. Sava, but we have world-class players like Saliba, Martinelli, and Saka, Odegaard, Zingo, and Rice. I hate to break it to you. Not one of those is world-class. I hate to break it to you. Not one of those is world-class, Matthew. Why can't you win the league? I mean, you showed last year you don't have the know-how to get over the line. And Man City have better players. And Man City have a better manager. But please, Saliba, Martinelli, Saka, Odegaard, Jesus, Zinchenko, and Rice. You think you've got 7 world-class players in the Arsenal team. I can't help people. Everybody, it's mad. It's absolutely madness. Mate, absolutely. Listen, none of them are world-class. It absolutely makes me laugh. Mark Cousins, big up Mark Cousins, one of my favourites in the Spurs community. One for the charity, big up Dele. Yeah, absolutely. Well done for him. Forget him being an ex-Spurs player. Well done for him being a man coming forward and talking about his... Men always bottle things up. It's seen as a sign of weakness. People say things like, man up. Man up. As soon as somebody says that, you realise they're an idiot. Man up. No one needs to man up. People are allowed to have feelings. People are allowed to be hurt. People need people to talk to. Roger Tyler, thank you very much. Much appreciated. Shafay Sajjad has said, massive respect for Dele. Absolutely. I can't imagine the strength it must have taken to come out with this. Glad to see he's on the road to recovery. Do you know what, Shafay? I think the difficult thing for Dele Alli is he knows, him and his team know that he'll do this video and there'll be so much love and support, but there'll equally be so many idiots that will just say things like, man up, and, oh, he's a rich footballer and he's a playboy. All right, cool. So what? He's a rich footballer. So what? He might have been a playboy. Doesn't mean you're not suffering mentally. Doesn't mean that. Yeah, Lee, do you know what? It just makes me laugh. I think the moment anybody says anything bad about Lionel Messi, I can't ever take their football opinion seriously. Strasbourg Steve said Serge Milinkovic-Savic is going to be earning 25 million a year at Al Hilal, which is as much as he's made in the past 5 years at Lazio. He leaves a legend at Lazio for sure. I think that's it. Look at those numbers, Steve. Just massive, massive numbers, Steve. Where are we? Jay Jr., big up, I said, as much as I want him gone, off the back of that Dele interview, I hope the club are supporting Cess. He must be suffering significantly with yet another injury, that feeling of being left behind. Look, I think the difficulty is what we can't do is just assume that everyone that's injured or whatever is suffering. What I think the clubs have a duty of care to do is make sure they're checking in. What I think they've got a duty of care to do is make sure that the players are looked after mentally. But again, as Dele Alli just said in his interview, the difficulty is people that are hurting. I've been there. I'm sure many of you have been there. People that are hurting, people that are in pain. Rather than asking for questions, act out sometimes. And sometimes that acting out isn't in the best way. It's a cry for help. But if you don't ask for help outright, other people don't know. So I think if anybody, whether it's Sessegnon, whether it's anyone, whether it's you, whether it's me, ask. I like to think now, not loads of people, but I like to think now that there are people I can ring up and say, you know what? I'm struggling today. And when people say, what's wrong? I don't know. There's nothing wrong. I'm struggling. I'm struggling with myself. I know who those people are and I know who those people aren't. You'll know who those people are in your friendship circle. You'll know. You'll know. Yeah? You'll know. Shafay has said, I feel like Messi and Ronaldo get compared because they're the most famous, but I don't think there's actually much to compare. I agree with you. Do you know what? I absolutely agree. I watched them play. There are no similarities as footballers at all, apart from their numbers. Their numbers unite them. I mean, Ronaldo's a powerful athlete. Messi is the ultimate footballer. The passing range, the way he creates, the way he dribbles. They're completely different footballers for me. Sean, listen, I don't think we should be talking about this now, if I'm brutally honest, my man. For me, I think just important, get him. He's back to a good place. But look, as he said, he's only been out of the rehab for 3 weeks. That's no time at all. 3 weeks. Think about your last 3 weeks. Goes like that. So for me, get fit. Hopefully get a club. Maybe he might need to go to a championship club or something. Get playing. Be happy. Enjoy your football again. I think if he goes to a Tottenham, to a Chelsea, I think the pressure immediately on someone that's just been through that is a lot. And we've got to think about how do we ensure as a community, how do football ensure as a sport that doesn't happen again to such a young man. He's still a young man. Yeah? It's all right, all of us sitting around, and I'm all for sitting around and talking about when players drop off or they're not that good. But when we start talking about mental health, it's a completely different ballgame for me. Danny, thank you so much. A channel member, always a big supporter of the channel. Hope you're well, Dan. I've lost subscribers during this show. Isn't it funny that you do a show about mental health and about good things and you lose subscribers. That shows me the world. That shows me the world. I know what it's like to have something hold you back, then get bad depression from it. I've got epilepsy, and because people can't see it, they don't believe there's a problem. Fair play to Dele. Mate, absolutely, Dan. Thank you for opening up about that. Look, I think, spot on. The thing you said there, that's spot on, because people can't see it. Yeah? Now, what I would say, Dan, is I'm in a good place now after where I was. I'm in a good place. But let's take, for example, let's say I wasn't. I come on here, I smile, I laugh, I joke, talk football, I'm animated. How does anyone know that the moment that camera shuts, I'm not in a really bad, dark place? No one knows. And that's why it's really important to talk about it. And talking about it is difficult. Hey, thank you so much, Dan. That is much appreciated. Really good guy there. Really good guy. I'm trying to get through as many chats as possible, by the way, people. It is really, really tough. Yeah, absolutely. Brun, I said, guys, being honest is not shitting on your team. Absolutely. People can't get that. Honestly, people like, unfortunately, Garage Classics, he does this to me a lot. And then he'll email me saying, oh, sorry, Sava, I didn't mean to. It's like, it's cool. There's no need for apologies. But, shitting on your own team is saying, I really hope Spurs get relegated. I want better for my team. Now, me saying I prefer Declan Rice to Bentancur isn't shitting on my team. That's me saying I prefer this footballer to that footballer. I think if you get Declan Rice in your midfield, you've got a player that gives that every game does his job. Every game, shows up against every team. He's a captain, he's a leader, box to box. He can drive the ball forward. Brilliant in the tackle, good engine. As I said, captain material. For me, I think he's a really good player. Rice has a bigger sample size than Bentancur. I don't know what that means. Castilla said Rice gets around the pitch much better. Yeah, some players do, some players don't. Kevin said, right, explain how Rice is a better player than Bentancur. He isn't, not from what I've seen. What have we seen from Bentancur that makes you think that, though? I've seen Bentancur have some good games, but never against any of the better teams. I've watched Declan Rice lead his team to European glory. I've watched Declan Rice take a very average West Ham team to 6th in the league. I've watched Declan Rice play centre midfield for England in 2 tournaments to get to a final and a quarter final. Listen, for me, I just think I think he's a very good player. I do. I think Declan Rice is a very good player. Okay, yeah, Brian, seen it. Brian, I've seen it. Got you. I'll message you after. Thanks for sending that through. Absolutely. This is what I mean, Paul. I just think as I've got older, I've realised this, that football fans are unable to have a conversation. Like, I like Bentancur. I like him. I don't think he's this wonderful midfielder that people make him out to be. I think he's good. I don't think I've seen enough of him where people are talking about him being brilliant. I think what we're seeing is because he got injured, we noticed that we missed him. But we haven't really got many. Yeah, absolutely, Ben. Maddison got relegated. Doesn't make him a championship quality player. Absolutely, that's it. Where are we? Yeah, okay, but look, unfortunately, frankly, I'm not in that kind of mindset. I'm not that childish mindset of, oh my God, someone plays for Arsenal. F them. I want to talk football. I don't see how anyone could be a proper, listen, football fans. I like speaking to football fans, like when I'm down the pub, that are deep into it. Like, I like them. They've got the knowledge. They talk. The moment I start talking to someone and they're like, yeah, I'm an Arsenal fan. Yeah, we're brilliant, aren't we? And we got the best player. I go, I shut off. I shut off because I can't have an intelligent conversation about football. And that's what I get from a lot of Arsenal and Spurs fans, to be honest. Spurs fans who don't understand our limits, and Arsenal fans who don't understand their limits. They think they're the best team ever. Name one world-class Arsenal player. I don't think any of them are world-class yet. I think Saliba's got all the makings of a world-class player. I think Odegaard is quality. But again, world-class isn't one season. World-class for me is year in, year out. Year in, year out. And that is why many people on here have heard me say this before, right, about world-class footballers. Yeah? When people say things like, Saka's world class. No, he's not. Saka's a very good player who's young with a lot of potential. But world class? Come on. World class needs to be year in. World class is Erling Haaland numbers, Harry Kane numbers for a striker. Yeah? People go, Osimhen's world class. But he's had 1 year where he's got over 20 goals. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, world class Rodri, year in, year out. Year in, year out. It makes you world class. The silly comments like this, Rice is bang average. Don't be so opinionated. I mean, I'll live with it, but where no one will take you seriously is the fact that you've said he's bang average, Jack. Opinions are opinions, but he's not bang average, is he? If he's bang average, Arsenal don't bid 100 million and Man City don't bid 85 million for you if you're bang average. It's baffling how silly this is. Single parent theory, thank you very much again. It's the truth. Never suffer in silence. Please reach out. Absolutely. The world-class conversation has always been one for anyone that's watched me. It's always made me laugh how quickly we want to elevate players from good to world-class in a year. It's amazing. Yeah. For example, let's think of a player like, let's not go with a Spurs player. Let's not go with a Spurs player because that's bad of me. It's like Alexander Isak is a good player, young player, bags of potential. You can see he's got a lot of talent. There was a spell last year with 3 or 4 games where he scored in a row and he scored that brilliant solo goal down the left. Immediately it was, this is the next Thierry Henry. This guy's world class. You're like, whoa, hang on. How have we gone from a guy that can't get in a team to a guy that's had a good patch of football to world class? It's too much. People want to put people on these pedestals that are crazy. Oh my God, that day with Mark. Yeah, wow. That was the best performance I've ever seen of a player live. It was frightening how good he was against Spurs. Sean has said the measure of a true man is the willingness to be open and honest, dealing with the struggles of life. Much power to Dele. Completely agree. It's comments like this. You are the problem, Jack. It's comments like this. It's comments like this that I can't stand. The reason why mental health exists, the reason why people feel they can't go and talk to people is because people like you say things like a snowflake society. It's sad. I'm sorry, mate. It's really, really sad. And I hope nothing bad ever happens to you in your life because, you know, it's not right what you just said. Strasbourg Steve said, how do you define the term world-class, Sava? I know you disagree with my top 10 in their position, but what's your defining? Listen, in your terminology, Steve, listen, it's only my opinion. In your terminology, there are 110 world-class players. I can assure you there are not 110 world-class players. You can't tell me 10 world-class strikers. You can't tell me 10 world-class centre-backs. There are not 10 world-class right-backs, 10 world-class left-backs, 10 world-class centre-mids, 10 world-class centre-forwards, 10 world-class goalkeepers. There just isn't, mate. For me, I don't think there's a method to it. I think you are or you're not. I don't think there's ever needed to be a method for working out if a player is world-class. That's me. Correct, Sava. A lot of people try to bring others down to their level of misery instead of getting help. Absolutely. Sava, with the mental health interview, what do you think of people calling Ange Big Ange? We all know if we call the Chelsea women's coach Big Emma Hayes, it won't go down well. Just a fault. Listen, I think this is a difficult one because sometimes people just have a nickname and they've always had that and they're comfortable with it. You know, I've got mates who we call, like I've got Small Steve and Big Paul, and Small Steve is 5'10". Like, he's like my height and he's called Small Steve and he laughs it off and he has a laugh of it and it don't bother him. Other people might be bothered, but I think that all comes down to personal perception, right? Listen, it's a tough one. I don't know. Yeah, it's silly. I don't want people like that here, Ben. I don't want people like that. I think it's really bad. Oh, we've got a good one here. We've got a good one. I've seen a good one. Sava, Messi is overrated. I'll leave that there. I'll let everyone else respond to this. I won't even respond. Messi is a bit overrated. His dribbling, I don't think his dribbling is as good as Eden Hazard or even as the shooting radius of Salah, Aubameyang, Martinelli and Sterling. I'm sorry, it's not often that comments leave me speechless, but this is definitely one of them. Please keep smashing the like button, people. We are at 182 likes. Let's get to 200 and let's get to 7,200 subscribers. We're currently on 7,180, so 20 to go. Let's smash that button. Corey Boy, thank you for being so open. I said, I suffer with PTSD, anxiety disorders, and depression. When people have a stigma about mental health, it hurts. Absolutely. Listen, Corey, you've got my number, mate. You ever need anything, you know that. But thank you for coming forward and telling us that. It helps for people to understand what others are going through. And when people say things like this snowflake community or whatever, I just feel it's terrible. Ben, let me send you the link if you want to come on for a bit, mate. 1 second. Oh, hang on. Let me see if I can find it. 1 second. Where am I? There we go. 1 second. Ben, that should be with you now, brother. Hope you're well. Listen, I just think we need to, football fans get really, really silly. Look, there's being honest and there's brown-nosing other teams constantly for their approval. I don't need anyone's approval. Garage, I don't need anyone. Oh, you don't know me in life. Garage Classics, you don't know me. Did you not see me go onto the Big Six and absolutely go at it hammer and tong with Grizz about Liverpool? I wasn't brown-nosing him. I was putting him, in my opinion, putting him in his place, and he was putting me in my place. We're having a great debate. This is so... Garage Classics, please stop with these silly comments. Right, I support Tottenham Hotspur. That doesn't mean my eyes don't work and I don't understand great football and great players in other teams. If you can't see that, I worry. If, as a football fan, you can only see Spurs players and that's it, then I truly, truly worry for you. But you are getting to the stage now where everything I say you have a problem with, and it's getting a little bit tedious. I'm getting a little bit fed up with your antics, if I'm brutally honest, Garage Classics. You do this every couple of weeks. Lots of people were messaging, lots of people that are reporters and people close to Spurs were saying this last night, that it is going to get wrapped up today. Listen, I don't know. Is it? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. But hey, we hope it is. We do hope it is. Kate, absolutely. Let's hope he can get back to his football. Maybe it'll be good for him. Join a championship club. Go and join Leicester City. Go and join Leicester City with Winksy and that, and Connor Cody. I think Connor Cody would be a great person for Dele Alli to be around. A real man, a real leader, a leader of men, a positive guy. Hey, it is what it is. Yeah, please. He's got to stop. It's just too much. It's getting really silly. We can have football conversations without saying things like brown nosing and all that. We don't need it. No, Prane, people don't like it anymore. People do not like constructive criticism of footballers. Yeah, you've said this already, and it's not true now, and it wasn't true then. Sava, Bentancur was the only reason the rigid Conte system was working. You need to give him more credit. Without the first half of the season, we finished 13th. Okay, listen, I don't understand this. You're not listening. I like Bentancur. I just don't think he's as brilliant as everyone thinks. I think Bentancur, for me, against the better teams, I never saw him. I never saw him turn up against any of the better teams. And for me, it's about consistency. You'll hear me say the same things. You know why? Because I'm consistent. Bentancur is a good player. Yes, he's a good player. But I just think I want to see him for a whole year do it consistently. Unfortunately, because of the injury, we didn't get to see that. But even at the beginning of last season, I thought he had some really good games and then some games where I didn't notice him. Ifs, buts, maybes, you don't know that. You just don't know that. That's the problem. There are things that can be said in certainty, and there are things that said as opinions. We don't know that. 24/7 said, on the football side, I think Dele reiterated the point of a good man manager, explaining how he trusted Poch's words and the belief he instilled. A lot to be said for that. A lot to be said for good man management, which is why I like Postecoglou. He looks like he's got it from what everyone says he's got it. From the videos you see of him, he's got it. Paul Hancock said, I'm a United fan and I watch channels like this because I don't live in an echo chamber. Absolutely, mate. Listen, my channel is never going to... I had someone message me yesterday, right, Paul, on YouTube, and they said, Sava, your channel won't grow as fast as others because you say bad things about Dyer and Sessegnon. I paraphrase that as Spurs fans who are unwilling to understand football won't watch me because I don't just say lovely things about every single thing about Tottenham. It's a sad world that we live in. As I said, I don't know he is. That's what everyone is saying. That's what everyone has been saying, that he is going to be, I didn't say completing his medical. I think his medical is going to be announced. On what metric is Saka world class? That's what I'd ask you the question. Very good player. Very good player. All the potential to pump and to become world class. On what metric is Saka world class? Yeah, I know, but we don't need to say things like that. We don't need to, frankly, Tottenham, we don't, we're better than that. We don't go, oh, F Rice. We don't need to say that. It just doesn't need to happen. Big up, Ben. You okay?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. It's another day in the world of the copper, and we're just having fun. But yeah, it's a very important day today, especially. So definitely get your memberships in and your super chats. Though helping mental health charities is very important. It's something you do on this channel very well, and it's something we take very seriously on Tottenham on Tour. Very seriously on Tottenham on Tour, especially with our recent stream that we did. I think it was ages ago now, but we did one recently. So if you want to watch a mental health stream, you can watch that on Tottenham on Tour. If any of the mods can link it, that would be brilliant. Well, I can probably find it on there, to be honest. But yeah, I just wanna go after the guy that said that Lionel Messi was overrated because
mate, I think he's on a wind up.
A worse opinion. I love that Tottenham team that he utterly annihilated was one of the best 11 as a football team that I've ever seen. That was a superb team. And
we've seen Lionel Messi annihilate everyone in world football for the last 16, 17 years, and still people go, bit overrated. You're like, what?
Like he was up against a prime Danny Rose who was quality and a prime Jan Vertonghen who was quality. And he did the same thing 6 times in a row, and they still couldn't stop him. They knew what he was going to do, and he still did it to them. That's how good this man was. He was so good that Tottenham fans gave him a standing ovation. I gave him a standing ovation. He was that good.
It's ridiculous. It's one of those performances where you go, I'm never going to see a player do that again in a game. Just quickly, I want to run through a selection of comments. Comments make me laugh. Saka is world class, best right winger in the world, hands down. Unfortunately, the reason I can't take your opinion seriously is because of the name of your channel.
Yeah,
like when you're saying Sakanelli, it kind of lends itself to you loving him.
Does Bernardo Silva not exist?
Mate, there's loads. There's loads, and it's just embarrassing. Haaland nowhere near world class.
What?
I mean, the guy's got 250 goals in his career by the age of 22, and has just scored. Was it 55 goals in all competitions?
55, yeah.
At the age of 22, it's embarrassing. Honestly, the Arsenal fans are embarrassing. Let's have a look at some more. Hang on, sorry. Let me go through a selection of them, Ben, right? Mount and Maddison are bang average. They're not bang average footballers, are they? Let's be honest. They're not bang average. Do I think Grealish is world class? No. I don't think. I like Grealish. I think he's got a lot of talent. I don't call players world class easily. So if you're trying to catch me out, no. Rodri is only better than Rice at receiving the ball. I just can't do it. I don't know. I don't know what to. I don't know. Sacchinelli, if Chiellini didn't drag Saka back in the Euro final, we would have won that. Saka is world class. No, I'm not having it either. Not having it. I'm not having it that he's world class.
Saka is a very good footballer, and his turn of direction is unbelievable. But he's not world class.
Yeah,
I spoke to you about this the other day, Sava. I went to school with a kid, and we think this is a troll. They're actually like this. I went to school with a kid. I didn't like Thomas Rosicky, even though Thomas Rosicky is a very good player. I said Thomas Rosicky isn't world class. And he just turned around to me and go, better than all your players. When we had Luka Modric in the team. How many Ballon d'Ors has Thomas Rosicky got? And how many Champions Leagues? It's just like, that is their argument. As soon as you criticise them, better than all your players, they actually act like this. It's really great that we've got YouTubers like Dan Potts that are not like this, and they say it the way it is. They say, right, good footballer, but they're not going to do that. It's crazy. It's crazy. I like Saka as a player, Ødegaard as a proper player, but they're not in the top 3 in their position in the world. Do
you know what? I don't even need to know where they are in their position in the world. If I watch Saka, I think Saka's a really good player. Yeah. I do. Listen, I hate to say it. Saliba, top player. Ødegaard, top player. Saka, I think Martinelli's going to be quality. But there's a difference between calling players world class now versus when they actually get there. You know, I think I've always said, Ben, for me, do it year in, year out. Yeah. Like I look at Haaland. Haaland, since the age of 16, 17, has been ripping up goal-scoring charts wherever he's been, right? Kane has been scoring goals year in, year out, right? Rodri, dictating Man City's midfield year in, year out. Yeah. De Bruyne, year in, year out. We now get to the point where we want players that haven't won anything, that haven't achieved anything, that haven't got over the line, and we suddenly go, they're world-class. Yeah. It's like, based on what? Towards the end of last season, I saw Saka do nothing. Yeah, like not in a bad way. I think he's a good player.
He's a very good player.
This comment is just absolutely shocking.
Yeah,
absolutely shocking. This is everything that is wrong with anyone that doesn't understand anything to do with mental health. Not being funny, but that is the biggest PR move from Dele. It's so obvious. I mean,
find that comment. Where is it?
It's fine. Just leave him. He's fine. He hasn't. I'm not blocking him. He's not saying. It's fine. How on earth has Rice become better than Bentancur? Unbelievable. What do you mean, become better? In my opinion, I think Rice has been playing really well for West Ham for about 4 years. Like,
I don't understand. Bentancur is a really good player. He's the glue of our team. And I've said this much. I'm a guy that absolutely adores Bentancur as a player. He's not as good as Declan Rice. I think Declan Rice is in the top 10 midfielders in the world. That's how good I think Declan Rice is. But it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that it's like the whole Rodri Rice thing. Rodri is Busquets incarnate. That's how good Rodri is.
He's ridiculously good.
You know, I love Declan Rice as a footballer. I'd love to have him in a Tottenham shirt. But Rodri is twice the player he is. Rodri controls an entire game without even having to touch a football. It's the entire game revolves around him. If you beat a team with Rodri in it, it's because he let you beat him. That's how good Rodri is. The entire world revolves around him.
Can I just say, okay, first of all, right? By the way, first of all, this idea that Rice carried West Ham, who did they beat? What was the level of team they faced? Do you know what? This is where I just want to open your mind up a little bit. The level of team they faced are the level of team that West Ham are. West Ham are not one of the big 4 in England. West Ham are playing teams at their level and managed to win a competition at that level. English tax, again, you're coming at the wrong person.
Yeah.
I don't care if a player's from outer space. I don't care if they're from Mongolia. I don't care if they're English. If a player is better than another player, I will say it.
Yeah.
right? Like English tax is real. I'm the least nostalgic, patriotic person you will ever find. So when you say things like this, it's to make yourself feel better about your bad opinion. It's not making you feel better because you think you're right. Look, by the way, gee, I honestly didn't really listen. As I said, I like Bentancur. For me, what I want to see is I need to see that guy get in the team.
Yeah.
I want to see him for a couple of years, year in, year out, as the main player, the way Rice has been at West Ham. And then I turn around and go, yeah, real deal. But at the moment, what I've seen from Bentancur, Ben, is I've seen a player that's got a lot of ability. Lot of ability.
Lots of ability, can glue a team together. That's what you see from Bentancur.
But and inconsistency. I see inconsistency.
And he's got the ability. He's got the ability to be the leader for Tottenham in the next couple of years. He's got that ability. But let's be calm on Bentancur.
Yeah. I mean, Steve, I listen. When I don't even think top 5. Again, can you name me 5 world-class right backs? World-class. 5 world-class left backs. 5 world-class wingers. I just feel like I don't know. For me, I think you're either at world-class or you're not. I don't think it matters about numbers. I just think people can't look past their own players. And it's something I've struggled with all my life. I've struggled with it all my life because people say these things without any kind of rationale. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. A couple of super chats to go through. Thank you very much. Martin Knightsbridge, thank you for being so honest. Said, as a man in recovery myself, men need to talk. Absolutely, which is why we will not tolerate idiots in here saying things like, oh, it's just PR. Very difficult for Dele, for someone to do what he's just done is very difficult. And for people to belittle it is absolutely shocking. Martin, I hope you're well. I hope you have got the support you need. If you need anything, mate, reach out. Everyone's got access to my email. Single Parent Theory said, truth. We've done that one, but thank you again. He's absolutely right. Never suffer in silence. Moondog said, good morning, Savva Ben. Okay. Big up to you. And said, absolutely, Moondog. Sometimes you just shake your head at some of the comments. Somebody said to me, you always read out these comments. Why? Just ignore them. I like it. Like, I think it's important that you show the good comments and the bad comments.
The bowels of society.
Yeah.
We need to see them.
I mean, for me, I think the difference is, Billy, is obviously Kevin De Bruyne is a bit more. He's a bit further up the pitch, isn't he? Rodri, I'm not comparing the two. They're different positions. Would I want Rodri in the De Bruyne role? No. Would I want De Bruyne in the Rodri role? No. You know, it's kind of like different.
I think De Bruyne later in his career could do that role because, again, he sees everything. He could do that later in his career. He can drop back and do that dictating role. But now he needs to be further and closer to the goal.
Corey Boy, message me on Instagram or the email, mate, and I'll give you my number again. Don't worry about that. That's fine. Here's a question. By the way, hang on. Romero, Bentancur, Richarlison all have world-class potential.
No.
Not for me. I don't think...
Romero, if he stops being a lunatic, could be a very, very, very good defender. But again... The thing about defence is you don't usually have world-class defenders. You have world-class partnerships. You don't have one terrible defender and one class defender.
Yeah, that's true.
You've got the Van Dijks that are very, very good for many, many years, but then they fall short because they don't have partners that help them. Defending and midfield is all about partnerships. You've got to have a world-class defensive unit. And Romero is only as good as the partner next to him. But also... his partner is also as good as how Romero plays. It's all about that partnership. And until Romero gets that little ick out of its game that he wants to take someone out in extra time, he needs to stop doing it. That world-class defenders don't do that. Rio Ferdinand never did that. Ledley King never did that. Thiago Silva still doesn't do it at 38. Maldini used to say, if you have to make a tackle, you've already made a mistake.
Exactly, which is why this is why I've always had this. I'm not going to go deep into Romero, but when all these people go to me, oh, I love the passion of him running out and clattering people. I don't like that in my defenders. I don't think many defenders do that who are good. But hey, it is what it is. Sava, do you think Paul Pogba was a flop at Man United, and you think Ozil was a flop for Arsenal? I think Paul Pogba. I wouldn't use the word flop. I feel like
he didn't reach potential. He didn't reach his potential.
A supremely talented footballer, Paul Pogba. Again, for me, attitude. Attitude is everything. Like when we talk about Ndombele, attitude is everything. You can have the talent if you don't apply it correctly. Ozil, look, Mesut Ozil, another a very
good
footballer.
For many years, but he never reached the heights he did at Real Madrid.
Yeah, he didn't reach those heights, but I wouldn't say it was a flop. I would say he did some very good things, but I would say it ran its course. Danny, absolutely. Go back 20 years, you'll see real world class. Came back 20 years, wouldn't have been called world class, along with 98% of... This is the thing.
Suitors and Tottis and Maldini's, Nesta.
Mate, they were everywhere. Yeah. There were world-class players everywhere. Now... people want them to be but people want them to be better than they are. Like
because we've gone from having world-class players to world-class teams, because the team game is what's important now.
Yeah. I mean, look, there were world-class teams back then as well. Hang on, mate. There were world-class teams back then.
No, but the teams, it's not like we have like teams where okay teams, then they've got a gem like a Gaza in the team. Like,
absolutely, I agree.
There are more cohesive teams and they act that way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the key thing here that Jay Diller said is, we forget that footballers are people. Absolutely, we do. Slot Watchers, Bodyguard said, morning, Sava, great stream as ever, telling the truth and how it is. By the way, people, we are on 210 likes. There's 410 of you in here. That means 200 people have not liked. Please do. And we are 17 away from 7,200. So smash that subscribe button and also get over to Ben and subscribe. He's put the link in the chat. Billy Andrews said Messi is the best player I've had the privilege of seeing live. He destroyed us. Messi's the best player I've had the privilege of seeing live and in general for me. He's a freak of nature in the nicest possible way. He's not human. But hey, it is what it is.
He's a little genius. Like I think we've had the pleasure of seeing possibly the best midfielder of the last 20 years in Luka Modric. Like to win a Ballon d'Or above Ronaldo and Messi in their era is something else. But even he cannot touch Lionel Messi. Not even him. It's another stratosphere.
Yeah. I agree. I agree with this call, man. Look, at the end of the day, I agree with this until he proves it otherwise. He is a solid Premier League player, nothing more, nothing less. We've got to remember as well, if we look and bear with me 1 second, I just want to check up something on Bentancur, right? So if we look at Rodrigo Bentancur, has played 35 games of football for Tottenham Hotspur, right? 35 games of football. For me, I need to see a massive sample size, and I need to see it game in, game out. That's the thing for me. I don't know why that's not liked anymore in football.
Of course,
I don't know why.
I'm a big fan of Bentancur. I was desperate for this guy because I've seen him play at Juventus. I've got most of the people I'm friends with are fans of Juventus, and when we signed him, they were just like, good player there, didn't fit in Allegri's system. It's just the way it's like people saying he's a reject and things like that. No, he's a quality player, but we need to see him play at central midfield, possibly being the leadership candidate in that midfield for many, many years. And consistency, but he's adding goals to his game, he's adding assists to his game, he's improving. But let's not get...
I know, but people want to go overboard. I mean, Sava, did you watch us when we beat Man City? Yeah, I watched us when we beat Man City not have really any of the football. So Bentancur might have worked hard, defended well, but what did he do that was fantastic? We didn't attack. Of course, I watched the game. And then the Arsenal game at home, is that the game where they played us off the park? What did he do? I'm not just him. I'm not knocking him, but what did he do?
If he was wonderful in that game, we wouldn't have lost.
We were awful. Like,
we
what
were
are we?
Terrible.
You know, I think. Look, I think that the difference for me here, Ben, right, is nowadays it's not enough to say you like something. Nowadays, if you don't think somebody is world class, wonderful, the best thing since sliced bread, then it means you don't rate them. I can't say it anymore.
Yeah.
I must have seen over, I don't know, 1,000, however many players I've seen at Spurs in the 40 years I've supported them, right? I've seen world-class players come and go. I've seen bad players come and go. I've seen average players come and go, and I've seen solid players come and go.
Yeah.
Bentancur, for me, is one of those that I go, yeah, I've seen loads of Bentancurs come and go where they've been good players, but we hype these players up to this point where other clubs of other, a player's good when clubs of other fans rate them, right? A player's good when other people look at a player in your club and go, oh, we love him.
Yeah.
Right? The same way Arsenal, Man City wanted Declan Rice.
Yeah.
I'll see it when somebody comes in with £100 million bid for Bentancur.
Yeah.
I've got nowhere to go. I've got nowhere to stand. If anyone values him at 100 million, cool. But I'm sick of not everyone's got world-class potential, by the way. Not everyone's going to end up world-class. Where are we? We've got a few more. Garage. Here we go. So Bentancur career did not start at Tottenham. He's done so much for Uruguay and Juve, yet Rice invalidates all of this. No. I don't know. I don't know. Again, Garage Classics, you can't separate the player from the club. I've seen Bentancur. If Bentancur was this wonderful player, I'm not saying he's not good, but if he was this wonderful player, why is he not still at Juve? Why would you go from Juventus to Tottenham? That I've got queries about that when players make those sort of moves. But I just don't think he. Garage, you're on a wind up now. He's just anything I'm saying. He's just saying the opposite.
Yeah. If you say a desert is wet, it will say it's dry.
Yeah. Look, Sava, what league were those goals scored in? Which player are we talking about now? Erling Haaland. I mean, any league. See you, my man. Listen, when we're talking about what leagues were goals scored in, isn't it strange that Erling Haaland's best ever goal scoring season has come in the Premier League?
Yeah.
If we're gonna use that metric, Ben. But he scored these goals in Germany. Yeah, but he's just scored more in the Premier League.
I've got like this latest one. Why did Totti not play for Madrid or Barca? Because he was a Roma fan from Rome, and he won the league at Rome. It's that what? But Totti could have played in any team in the world if he wanted to. That man was class. He was mentally good.
Honestly, Gunnar Vettel, yes, I do get a lot of people that just say some crazy, crazy things. Hey, but it's what we like. That's why if everyone came in this chat and said the same thing, it would be boring.
It would be boring.
Son is world class, though. Not for me. Again, people are going to hate me. I don't think he's world class. I think he's a very good player that is very good through on goal. I don't think his all-round game is good enough to call him world class, and I don't think he scores enough goals to be called world class. Just my opinion. Others will disagree.
Football's a game of opinion, Sava, and that's the entire. I love. I put Sonny up there, but I think he's dropped out after the recent season. But again, the top three players. I think world class means the top three players in their position in the world. That's what I personally think. And unfortunately, Sonny has dropped out of that in recent. He was there as a left forward. Now he's dropped out of it. So to get back to being world class again, he's got to have another great season. Yeah, it's just that.
I mean, look, Glenn Hoddle. Oh my God, yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is what I mean. Dafar Share. Am I reading that wrong? Dafar Share. Far share. Listen, yeah, absolutely. For these people that call players like Bentancur and partying at world class, go and watch Gaza. Yeah. Go and watch Glenn Hoddle. Go and watch Liam Brady of Arsenal. Yeah. Go and watch Trevor Brooking. These players were. Go and watch Brian Robson.
Yeah.
Right. These players were different gravy. And now everyone goes, oh, Bentancur's world class. No, he's not.
I've had the privilege of speaking to Maxi Miller at one of the events he did at the Royale in Tottenham. I think it was called the Royale. And he just said, if you boosted the ball at Glenn Hoddle from 5 centimetres away above his head, he would still control it. That's how good Glenn Hoddle was. Like, the man had a magnet on his foot. Like, he was just unbelievable. Like,
absolutely.
No one showing your age. What's that supposed to mean, showing your age? But
just quickly, so a few transfers. So Romano has said that Aaron Ramsey is going back to Cardiff from Nice. So Aaron Ramsey going back to Cardiff. Good on him there. Begovic is undergoing a medical at QPR. God, there's a name, Asmir Begovic.
That's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Reports that Henderson will go to join Steven Gerrard if Liverpool get a £10 million bid for him. Also, Rasmus Højlund remains the top target for Man United. Man United haven't sent a bid yet, but they are talking to the club. And Ornstein has reported that Fabinho could be going as well. I've just looked this up. Yeah, Fabinho, thank you. I've just seen it. Yeah. Hey, everyone's going there. Yeah, there's just lots to listen. I just think everyone really wants to make their own club players world class. And I get it. I get the bias. I get it. But for me, I look at football. I don't care if you play for Spurs, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool. If someone's world class, I will say they're world class. You know, it is what it is. Eamon Burns said, oh my God, will you guys get off Rice? I mean, first of all, Eamon, you can grow up. No one's on his so-and-so. You English guys make him out to sound the best in the world. No.
What?
No.
We've been saying that he's not a good player. We've been saying that he's not as good as Rodri the entire stream.
I literally would pick a lot of players over Declan Rice. I just think he's a very good player. Like, this is the world we live in. People like you walk amongst us. It's scary, Ben. It's scary that somebody can't have a conversation without saying things like, will you get off Rice's? It's scary that this is the world now. Really, really scary. I mean, with a spreadsheet. Yeah. Bentancur's position in the team is the same as what Moussa Dembele was. Okay, if we're going to do this game, yeah. Okay, cool. Now compare.
I love Bentancur, but he's not Moussa Dembele. I had the privilege of going to the Juventus Stadium and watching Tottenham versus Juventus. And he was against some of the best players in the world. And Moussa Dembele was so good. You had Juventus fans saying, we should sign Dembele. Like, he manhandled them.
Absolutely.
He manhandled them.
I think if we're going to do that, then I don't think that person was comparing the two players, just the position, right?
Yeah.
And I'll compare the players. That's the thing. If you then look at those two players in the same position, look at Bentancur, look at Dembele. When Bentancur gets to Dembele's levels, and for me, Dembele wasn't even world class. Dembele was a top player. And for me, Ben, I think you can be a top player without being called world class.
Yeah, of course.
And Dembele was in that level. Mike Reyes, thank you. Yeah, to all the jokers making fun of Dele, you know, people lose their lives to these issues. Yeah, I think it's tough. Yeah, agreed. This is a sensible comment. Yeah. Saka has the potential. He's not world class now. Bang on. For me, if you're world class, what Saka needs to do this year needs to be better than last year. Yeah. Then the year after that needs to be better than next year. Keep scoring the goals.
Scoring 20 goals this year if he wants to start calling himself world class. He's got to score 20 goals.
But 20 goals, show up against top teams. Yeah. Show up in the Champions League. Do the big... Like, Saka the other day scoring a hat-trick for England against whoever we beat 7-0 or whatever the score was. That's great.
Yeah.
Let's start doing that against the Champions League teams. Let's start doing that against the world-class sides. And this is what, you know, I think really does make me laugh. Frankly, Tottenham has come in and said, this is for all the people with mental issues. And I think we all suffer from it, big or small. Absolutely, frankly, Tottenham. We can put football aside here. We don't always agree on football, me and you, but this is it. People, sometimes you can't see what someone's going through.
Yeah.
And you know what? Not everyone's strong enough to pick up that phone and say, I need you.
Yeah.
I need your help. I'm I'm going down a dark alley. I'm going down a spiral. I did this years ago, Ben, right? I'll be honest, like people will try and call me out for things I did on Twitter, and I've acknowledged it. Back on the down Twitter, I'd pick rows with people and I'd call them this and that, and I'll fight you and I'll kill you and all this kind of stuff. And then I realized I was hurting so much inside and I was using social media to get it out there.
Yeah.
And I didn't ask anyone for help, Ben.
Yeah.
I didn't.
You've got to ask for help.
My friends came to me, a couple of my friends came to me and went, "What are you doing? This is not you. What are you doing?" And you fight it. Don't you fight it? Your first natural instinct is, yeah, but you don't understand. And it's only then when you get to that stage where you go, yeah, the light bulb moment, I call it. It's that light bulb moment when you go, who am I? Why have I become this? Yeah. And unfortunately, I live with that every day now because I still get those people from back in the day that go, remember when Sava did this? Remember, you can't support Sava's channel because Sava said this. And that is why
we all grow as people. We all grow as people. We have to what's it called? Put to bed the demons we've done. And we need to put those aside and then move forward into the future. It's what you've got to do. You can always improve. There isn't a soul alive unless you've done something like really awful that cannot be saved. There's always hope for everyone, and you've got to move forward.
Yeah, I think the key thing is at the end of the day, that's why now I try to give back so much as possible. Not that I did wrong to the people I raised charity for, but I like to. I feel like I've seen what I'm like at my worst. How can I now be at my best? And people judge me for my strong football opinions. And you know what, Ben, you know what I'm like. I'm like a dog with a bone in football. But outside of football, that's not who I am. Yeah. That's not, you know what I mean? Outside of football, if someone rings me up today and goes, like my mate PJ, he was actually my next door neighbor in my last house. I miss him so much. Me and PJ got on so well that we actually built in the fence in our garden during lockdown. Yeah. We took out one of the panels and put in a gate, right? Yeah. And at the end of my garden, I had a bar called Bar 32 because that was my door number. And I don't live there now, so it's all right to say that. And literally, I was like, PJ, if I'm ever not in, it had a TV in it. It had all the electricity, the fridge. If I'm ever not in, mate, and you want to get away from your wife, you go and sit at the back of my garden. You chill out. I come home, he'd be like, you all right? He's there, beer. I had a pool table out the back there. And he messaged me yesterday and was like, Sav, I know you like a challenge. Do you fancy this? It was something like a 150-kilometer walk in 4 days around the Downs. And I was like, yep, he knows me. I'm like, yep, book me in. Right, how are we going to raise money? And that doesn't make up for bad things I've done. I've never done anything that's so bad that I've never physically hurt anyone. Yeah. But words can be painful. Yeah. So I don't sit here as an angel. I don't sit here as someone trying to go, oh my God, look at me, I'm brilliant. I sit here as someone that's been through pain that might have caused other people emotional pain and wants to learn from it. Now, it's not easy for me to sit here and say that, but you have to own it as a man and you move on. You own it. Yeah. So it is what it is.
It is what it is. You can only do what's in the now, and we've got to improve as people. And there's always, if you constantly think about what you did like ages ago, you're never gonna. You've got to move into the future. There's always room to better yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go. There are a couple more super chat. I mean, everyone's been very, very generous today. Thank you very much. And it does restore your faith in humanity. Robert Bullmore has said, support mental health as I know how it feels, mate. Keep up the good work. Robert, do you know what? I think what's eye-opening, I don't want to say worrying, what's eye-opening is the number of people that are now saying, I suffer from it. The number of people that now feel comfortable to say, you know what, I've suffered from it. I don't always feel all right. I don't wake up every day ready to go and life's great. So thank you for that, Robert. And Mari, big up, Mari. Hope you're well, my friend. I said, world class should be few and far elite. Unfortunately, sports society has watered down the term. World class has lost its value. Mari, bang on. I think, for me, there should be very few world-class players. There's the reason they're world-class is that their level's above everyone else. If everyone is world-class, then what does it mean? So you're bang on, mate. Thank you so much for that, Mari. I really appreciate it.
Man, Mari.
Phil Coys has said, morning, Sava and Ben. And Ben. Don't forget Ben. Just watched. Hang on. Sorry, is that a bit too bright? You can still see me, yeah?
I can still see you.
Perfect. Just watched the Dele interview. I really hope he can recapture the form when he was at Spurs. Fantastic player, big season. Yeah, for me, more than that, Phil, I hope that he gets the support, continued support he needs. Go and find a club where people aren't going to expect miracles from you game in, game out. I think if he came back to Spurs, I think it does one of two things. I think you get a player that gets a bye every game if he doesn't do well because of mental health, or you get a player that the pressure is so great on him that you put him back to where he was. For me, as I said, Ben, what do you think? Maybe it's a team like Leicester. Go down the Championship, recapture your form, show everyone, sign a 1-year deal somewhere. Do what Ericsson did. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if he's still got a contract at Everton, does he? He still has a contract at Everton, right?
I don't even know anymore, Ben. I don't know.
If he doesn't have a contract at Everton and he needs somewhere to train, needs somewhere to get fit, Hotspur Way is his, in my opinion.
I agree.
Any resource that we've got at Tottenham, but coming back to Tottenham might be going back to his demons. He might rediscover some of those demons. He needs a fresh environment, a fresh place, and he needs to say, right, my demons are in my past. My demons are in my past, and I'm going to build a new life myself. Let's say at Luton Town. Let's say he goes to Luton Town. He's got it. I think going back to Tottenham he might rediscover those demons. Yeah.
No, I agree. I agree. Gregor, okay. Sexy Sava, how's the morning so far? Yeah, good morning. Very good morning. The weather's not as good today, by the way. Don't be fooled by the bright light. It's the weather's not great. And we're taking little Frank to the vets at 3:00 today. Yeah. So that's my day. Oh, nothing bad. He's a French bulldog that gets irritation. So I pay £120 a month for him to have an injection. Otherwise, he just scratches and gets all red and nothing bad. But I'm sure he loves it. He goes there. He gets treats galore. He loves it. It's like a playground for him. Hey, Mr. Post Office has said Saka is 21 and putting up double figures in goals and assists. He is excellent. Let's wait until he is 24, 25 for the World Cup. I agree. The problem is nowadays listen, Messi and Ronaldo set the bar so high in the world-class conversation. Yeah. Bale, Neymar, these boys were the run below.
Ronaldinho.
Right. But to put Saka, am I putting Saka in a level with Bale? Not yet.
Absolutely not. And someone asked if Bale was world-class. Bale scored an overhead kick in a Champions League final.
Oh,
Bale as winning another Champions League final and another one, like doing it almost single-handedly.
Yeah,
it's mad.
I think that's it. Listen, I think that the measure of men as well as world class, the measure of this is Gareth Bale. Look at his record in finals.
Yeah,
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Outshining Ronaldo in Champions League finals.
Yeah.
But Gareth Bale was different.
Outshining Zidane in a Champions League final. By scoring a better goal than him.
Oh, what a goal. I mean, I think the key thing is, this guy. What
a player he was.
Oh, I don't beg. That's the wrong word. I would urge anyone young that has never seen Gabriel Batistuta score goals.
Yeah. Right. The angel of death for a reason. The angel of death.
Do you know what? And there's a reason they called him Batty Goal.
Yeah.
it was the commentators, they go Batistuta. Instead of Batistuta, they go Batty Goal. He was in the era.
Name like the angel of death, you're world class.
When you look at that era, right? Batistuta, George Weah, Shevchenko, Zola, Fonseca, Casaraghi, Vialli, Ravanelli, Paolo Wanchop, sorry, not Paolo Wanchop, Asprilla, Davor Zucker, Romario, Stoichkov, the real Ronaldo, like it was Christian Vieri, it just Henrik Larsson.
Italian football then was different gravy.
It rolled off the tongue. That's why when people say things like, is Saka World Cup? I'm like, no. Where are we? Ben Spurs said Dembele was world class. Every player asked who the best they have played with said him. He has to be world class to have that level of respect. I don't think that's quite how it works. For me, I think, look, Dembele for me, for as good as he was, what I would say is in his career, listen, okay, world-class players for me. By the way, keep smashing that like button, people. Keep smashing that like button. We're on 247 likes. Let's get to 300. And keep smashing the subscribe button, people. We are now on 7,185. Let's get another 15 and get to 7,200. For me, I think the fact that Dembele, because of his injuries, and for me, I didn't see
anything, though, did he? He never
won anything, and no top club, as far as I'm aware, ever went in for him. The world-class players get the bids. They do, unfortunately.
Another one, East London Gooner is saying Kaka. Remember Kaka versus Manchester United when he absolutely battered them?
Yeah.
He was a genius, that guy.
I'm a Geordie, but watch fan channels of other teams for authenticity. Better than watching clueless experts on Sky. Sava is my Spurs guy. Very smart and clued up. Dave, I'll send you the tenner via PayPal in a minute, my friend. Donna, big up to you. Donna Cullen. I give attention to everybody. DJ has said, have we secured a centre-back yet?
No.
We're hoping it's today. Lots of reports are saying that the medical will be announced today for Van der Ven. I'm hoping it is. By the way, Ashley Young has just signed on a short-term, a 1-year deal for Everton. So that's a now been completed.
That's a top professional here. That's a leadership candidate for that team. It's exactly what they need. Someone that's been there, done it recently as well. That's a proper signing for them.
Sergios, a lot of the reports that were coming out yesterday were from people that had predicted, for example, the Madison medical before it happened and the Vicario one. The same people are saying the same things about Van der Ven, which is where lots of people are getting it from. Lots of reports saying that it's just a formal bid that needs to happen now, that they've agreed verbally. We'll see. Let's hope. Garage Classics, you got timed out because you can't be polite to anybody. I see you go and you go and you go. I say it's Thursday. You'll find a way of telling me it's Friday. It's that simple. Corey.
And no one will time you out.
Absolutely. We're so far behind. DJ says Sava must be wearing Sex Panther. Donna Cullen is going for him big time. Isn't that the aftershave from Anchorman?
Wait.
What you saying? Ben?
Bobby Szymanski, Bobby Moore won at West Ham was a domestic cup. Isn't he a legend? He won a World Cup with England and was the captain. He took Pele out of a game. He took prime Pele out of a game. Oh my God. Possibly the best ever footballer, on par with Messi, and Pele said he was the best defender he ever played against. My God.
Yeah. By the way, just quickly, I'll get to that in a second. By the way, I'm so far behind the comments. I'm seeing a lot of people now. I'm not going to read them all out, saying that they were an alcoholic and that they suffered from depression and that they were abusive. And look, fair play to everyone. All we can do, as Ben said, is get better as people. We can own up and we can move on, or we can keep doing the same things. Big up. So Hennessy has said, Sava, just wanted to say the shirt you gave me came today. I love it, mate. Thank you so much. FHTV on the back of it with the number 7, I believe. I don't know why the number 7. Hopefully you're happy with that, Hennessy. Hopefully it fits. Big up to you. Jordan Pierce has said, Sava, your opinion of Jamal Musiala. I'm a Tottenham fan, but absolutely love this guy. Would you take him at Tottenham? I think he's all the potential. I mean, I think he's got all the potential in the world
Yeah.
to be world class in a few years. Would I
Yeah.
take him at Tottenham? Of course. Would he dream of coming to Tottenham? No.
No.
No. Yeah, absolutely. Agreed. This is a good point, Philly, one of the Phil army. Overhyping players into something they are not, setting them up to fall.
Yeah.
This is what I mean. For example, if we use Saka for an example,
Yeah.
let's use Saka or Bentancur. People calling them world class. Let's say they go and have a bad season next season, right? People will then try and find an excuse to backpedal out of calling them world class.
Yeah.
That's the problem, is you put them up there, and then when they fall, we want to beat them. Yeah. For me, I'm not expecting anything of Bentancur this season. He's going to come back from a 9-month injury. Yeah. I think for me, get him fit. Don't rush it. Slowly integrate him back into the team and don't expect miracles from him.
Yeah.
But, Ben, there is a chance that he won't come back. He'll never be as good because a 9-month injury has destroyed careers before.
Yeah. It could either make him stronger or it can be the end of him.
Absolutely.
It's just, we'll have to see. It's what I have to see. But let's not build him up and let's let him play football when he comes back in November. Play him in some small games. I think Basuma will take on his mantle very well. And I'm looking forward to seeing him play again because I like the guy. I think he's a great player.
Yeah, absolutely. Tony Rodriguez, the plane to Australia takes off tomorrow. We still haven't signed a centre-back and have lots of deadwood to get rid of. It's a disgrace. Rate the window. Listen, I don't like rating windows. No. I think you set yourself up for failure. I just like to say I think the window's been good or not, or I think it's been in the right direction.
Yeah.
The deadwood to get rid of. Well, if you look, Lucas has gone. Longley and Danjuma's loans are finished. Winks has gone.
Yeah.
There are bids in for Lo Celso. There are bids in for Sanchez. I'm
surprised we haven't accepted that by now.
I mean, I think these things take time. The thing you've got to remember, Tony, is a lot of these players aren't worth a lot. And it's going to be that dilemma of how much they're worth versus who's going to pay them. You know, reports that Spartak Moscow wanted Sanchez. Would anyone move to Russia right now? Do you know what I mean? Like it's things like that. But all the noises suggest we're getting centre-backs, Tony. I think we will get a couple of centre-backs in. I think we'll definitely get one that wraps up in the next 2 or 3 days. And if we can get both of them over the line, all of a sudden, I think we're looking in a healthy place. But Tony, what are you hoping for next season? What, as you as a fan, I'm not asking you as a fan, what's your hope for next year? I just want to do a little test. Let's see what your hope is for next season. By the way, guys, I'm going to go for another 5 or 6 minutes. So if anyone does want to put in one last super chat, please do. Please subscribe to both Ben and to myself. I'm sure Ben in the next couple of minutes will be so kind to put the links in the chat. It's been a great show. I think we've covered a lot. We've covered Rice. We've covered Bentancur. We've covered world class. We've covered mental health. We've covered Italian strikers. We've covered people that think Lionel Messi isn't as good at shooting as Raheem Sterling. We've covered people who think that Saka is world class. It's been a good show. We'll finish in a minute, but we're still going. Matt Spurs said, hypocritical of you bigging up Dele when you continuously say our players are useless. Those comments might cause those players mental health problems. Criticism is fine, but people go too far. Matt Spurs. There is a huge difference between me talking about how good a player is or not and me attacking their mental health and not helping them when they're in trouble for something to do with alcohol or drugs or sexual abuse. There is a huge difference. Footballers put themselves in the shop window, will get criticism.
Yeah.
What you will never hear me say, you never see me attack a player personally.
Yeah.
I say, I don't rate this player. What have they done? Every football fan does that. So I'm not a hypocrite, Matt. I raise money for mental health charities. I talk about the problem. So either off you go, I don't need you in my chat, or grow up, right? Grow up. I was a big critic of Dele Alli as a player, yeah? But Dele Alli as the man now coming out and owning what's happened, maximum respect.
Yeah.
Maximum respect for that. So no, Matt, don't come into a stream where we've now raised, by the way, $130 for mental health today. Now that's what, 110 quid maybe?
Something like that ish.
And I get morons like this coming in saying things like this.
It's mad. It's mad.
Yeah. Mike Ray said, Mudryk is an exception to getting bid to be world-class rule. At Sava, you say he needs time, but he won't be world-class nevertheless. Yeah, but Dembele wasn't in that era, was he? Everyone now is getting bought for 100 million. Everyone it seems to be getting
inflation.
Bought.
It's called inflation. How much would Batistuta be worth now? 250 million. Easy. It's inflation.
And this is what I mean. Like, again, even if I look at Moussa Dembele, compare Moussa Dembele to Bentancur. Now you've got your levels. Now when people are going, oh my God, he's class. No, Moussa Dembele was class.
Yeah.
Bentancur's not
a very good player. He's a very good player,
right.
But he's not class yet.
By the way, do I think Vinicius Junior is the next world-class star? I think he's already world-class.
Yeah.
Vinicius Junior is special. He is different. For me, he's the best left-sided winger forward in the world.
Yeah.
For me.
He's magic. He's quality.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. And does it year in, year out at a massive club. So I think there's levels. I think there's absolute levels to this. Where are we? Here you go. Ulfric Storm. I love this guy. Ulfric Storm Cloak. Morning, my daily salute to King Harry Edward Kane. Long may he reign. Absolutely. Dave Sydney won. Yeah, I think Kulu definitely big year for Kulu. Like him as a player, but he's again, people like me saying this. Talented boy, got to see consistency.
Yeah.
I think we'll see more consistency under Postecoglou, but we've got to see consistency.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think this is a big season for Kulu. I think this is the season where Ange decides that I think Kulusevski will be better through the middle because I think he's very quick on the ball. He's not quick as in speed-wise, but in his brain, he's very fast. And I think this could be the season where I think we're going to see some good things from Kulusevski.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's Stewie too. There we go. He just
Stewie doesn't like Frank, so he's sitting in front of his face.
Yeah, he does this all the time. Frank is an unsociable dog. When I'm streaming, Stewie's right next to me in his bed until he goes up there. Right? Frank is downstairs having a mood, chewing on some bit of furniture or something. You know what I mean? Guys and girls, here we go. He's back. He's back. He couldn't. No, I'm not wrong on this. What's he done that's world class? Let's have a look, right? I'll tell you what. Let me bring up Bukayo Saka, right? Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka for me, okay. 14 goals last season. Yeah, good return. Good return. Season 4, 11. Yeah, good. So he's improving. Good. From a goal scoring perspective, he's improving. Show me the big games where this guy's made a difference.
Yeah.
Show me the consistency that's world class. When Arsenal needed him most towards the end of last season, what happened to him? Everyone kept saying, Saka's dropped off. Now, he's a top player. He's a top player, Sakanelli. The problem is, to get to that next level, you've got to go some.
Getting to that level is easy. Keep staying at that level is impossible almost.
Yeah.
Which is why the class players, they are up there. They are always there. They stay there. They cement themselves. Eden Hazard, perfect example. He got to that world class. He got his big move to Real Madrid. What happened? He didn't just fall down. He went vertically down.
Mate, one of the biggest drop-offs, again, like when Fernando Torres left Liverpool, those drop-offs have been huge. To be fair, Dele Alli, now we know, but the drop-off was huge. Look, I think the key thing is this. Just because we think, as football fans, a player has world-class potential doesn't mean they're going to hit it. I think that's the key thing. The same way that every youth player doesn't make it to a first-team level. Like, I go down to watch Dartford play quite a lot, Ben. They're my local non-league club in the Conference South. They lost in the playoff final last year, in the playoff semi-final last year. They might go up from the Conference South this year. But speaking to people down there, lots of the players' dads are in the stands and that, and you speak to them, it's like, oh, yeah, my boy's a number 4. Oh, what's the story? Oh, he was at Millwall until 20, didn't make it. Oh, my lad was at Arsenal until 17. The world is full of them. The problem is it's fans wanting them to be better.
Yeah. It's
I went to school. Sorry, Ben, just really quickly. I never ever said Declan Rice is world class. I've not once in this show said he's world class. I think Declan Rice is a very good midfielder who's going to be an Arsenal captain for the next 5.
Yeah.
Not now, but I think he will end up being an Arsenal captain and playing over 200-300 games for the club. I've never said he's world class. For me, I told you, the level of world class is Rodri, Casemiro. Yeah. They're world class.
Thiago Silva,
the Bentancurs, the Rices, the Sack. They're not. Who's that? Sorry.
The Thiago Silva's in their prime.
Yeah. You're talking. Sorry, Matt. I cut you off. Sorry. Go on.
Yeah. I went to school with. He plays for Charlton now. Jack Payne. He's to be in a League One team. That's pretty impressive. But these guys are something else. They are aliens almost. It's almost like they're not humans. It's crazy to expect Saka to be anywhere near the level of Rodri or Vinicius Junior now. Sonny in his pomp before he had his injury. That these players, they are insanely good. Like Harry Kane for years, 6-7 years carrying a team.
Yeah. I think that's absolutely it. Just quickly, I'm going to end the show there, but Tony Rodriguez said that we get a team that works for each other. If we finish top 8, I'm satisfied. Yeah, mate, absolutely, Tony. That's what I want. I think Postecoglou will pleasantly surprise a lot of people with the team he builds. Have the faith, my man. We will get there. Listen, I am going to go through the last sort of super chats. I mean, George Best, we're talking beyond world class. Yeah. That was different level. I'm going to go through some super chats. Please, after this, listen, I like going through the comments. It's good. It's good to go through these comments. Yes, and more yes. Roy Keane was different.
He took Zidane. He took Zidane round the block.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even then, Modric for me was better than world class. I think he was just different. But listen, I could read these comments out all day. Let me go to the super chats. Orak Beats, this is Sava. Do you have any merch? I'm a graphic designer and artist. I can help make some really dope merch for all ages, free of charge. Big up. Dude, do me a favor. My missus actually said to me yesterday, why don't you do some merch? I'm not sure I'm at that level yet, but can you message me on Instagram or on my email, please? It's a very kind offer. Single Parent Theory has said, for the context, it can be instantaneous to go from positive to negative. The other way is exponentially more difficult. Think about a moment that pissed you off and it took hours to calm down. Times that by 10,000. Yeah. Absolutely, my man. If you ever need anything, message me. Paul Connor has come in and said as well, here is a little bit more, mate. Wish I could do more, but massive respect for raising money for a cause that not get talked about enough. Listen, everything is welcome. Thank you so much. You're a good guy. You're a really good guy. Perchy TV, big up Perchy. One of our crew said, this is €5 for the charity. Great work, Savva and Ben. On Dele Alli, absolutely massive respect.
Get over to Perchy's stream after the show.
Absolutely, get over there. Absolutely, much love to you as well, Perchy. There's things we can all do. Another super chat, they're flooding in from CT73, said mental health should no longer be a taboo subject. Bang on, absolutely. That's why when people talk about snowflakes and manning up, stop it. Do I need to man up because I've had some mental health issues? No. Raf has said 5. I don't know what that was in regard to, but thank you very much, Raf. That is much appreciated. Mark Cousins said, Conference South, you're coming Yeovil this season. I'll tell you what, I'll come to Yeovil, Mark, and we'll go and get on it, shall we?
And see Mark.
We'll all go to Yeovil, to Huish Park, is it? Yeovil? Yeah. Huish Park? And Deja19 has said, everyone has struggles that they're going through. Uniting together as fans, here is a step forward. Big up all of us. Listen, thank you to absolutely everybody that has liked the show today. I will ask one last thing from people. Please like the show on your way out. It's 266. Let's get it to 300. And if anyone wants to subscribe, please do as we approach 7,200. Ben, thanks for coming on.
Get
Much
the cough
love.
to 400. 400 for the cough. If you don't, you'll leave these.
Get to the cough. Don't believe these. Much love. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
They are.